Abilene's Rock Station, Rock 108. A big show coming up on April the 5th at the Lucky Mule Saloon. Hell yeah, coming to town, playing with Sarosha and A New Machine. And I'm very, very fortunate to be joined on the phone with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Vinnie Paul. How are you, brother?
Hey, man. Doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Man, can't wait to get you guys here April the 5th. And, you guys got have a new album coming out later this year. And, of course, you guys always tearing up the stage, brother.
It's always good to play the hometown. You know, I was born and raised there. Actually, I was raised in Dallas, but I was born in Abilene. And, it's the first date for the new record, Blood for Blood, that we're doing. And then we go straight from there to Canada, of all places, from Abilene to Dawson Creek, Canada, and we hook up with Avenged Sevenfold, and we're direct support for them for the entire month of April and May, all over Canada and the United States. So things are getting off to a quick start here, man.
As you mentioned, you're Texas raised, Texas born, and all that. Do you feel a little bit more excitement whenever you play Texas shows?
Oh yeah, man. It doesn't matter if we play San Antonio, Lubbock, Abilene, Dallas, Tyler, you name it. It feels like every one of them's a hometown, and I think everybody feels a special connection to myself and my brother and, the Pantera days and now what I do with Hell Yeah. So it's always exciting when we play in Texas, period.
Now, you talked about the new album, Blood for Blood, which doesn't come out until June. Now, just the title itself says that the album is going to be one heavy-ass album. Was that kind of the thinking process going in to record it?
I just think it's the most focused record we've ever made, man. I really feel like we got really deep into the songwriting and the production side of it. We worked with a new producer, Kevin Cherko, who had done Ozzy's last couple records, and he had worked with Mutt Lange in the past. So he really was a great producer and a great addition and really got the best out of all of us. So I just feel like it's the heaviest, the best Hell Yeah record that we've ever made, man.
Now, you mentioned, you brought in the producer. I mean, because you've actually produced all of the Hell Yeah records up to this point. What was it like kind of giving the reins over to somebody else there?
It was actually something that was well needed. I just felt like going into this that we really needed an outside opinion and really needed somebody else to come in that could kind of drag more out of us, and I could be more of a drummer and not have to be in the studio 16, 18 hours a day producing and mixing and engineering and all the stuff that I'd done in the past. And, I knew that his skills were pretty incredible, and I was just really excited to work with him. And trust me, it was awesome to come down to the studio, play drums for 2 hours, go do whatever I wanted for the rest of the day, and then show back up at the end of the night and kind of give my 2 cents worth as a producer as the songs started taking place.
Right on, man. Now right out of the gate, the title track is the first song on the album. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool, man. What made you guys pick that one? Did you want like the heaviest song possible to kick off the album, or what was the the thinking process behind that?
There's stuff that's heavier than that. We just felt like that had all the right elements. It's heavy, but it also had melody. It also had a great hook to it. And, usually bands don't have a whole lot to do with picking singles. That's a label thing. And they picked it, and, we love every song on the record so much. It wasn't hard for us just to agree and say that's the one.
Right on. Now, as far as favorite songs on the new album, I'm guessed to say that you probably say all of them, but do you have a favorite right off the bat?
Well, they're all special in a certain way. It's like having 10 kids and trying not to show any favoritism because you love them all so much, But like December, the last song on the record is really incredible. I just love everything about it. And then maybe Say When, the track 8, which is probably the most technically heavy, involved drumming that I've done since Far Beyond Driven, and it's really going to be a challenge to play it live, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, man! I can't wait to hear the entire album. Now, when you guys are writing the new stuff, do you kind of keep in mind that how is this going to transcribe live to everybody?
Oh yeah, you always got to have that in mind, especially with heavy music. You want to have those parts that really make people move and just. What the live scene is all about is about the band, the fans, and the transfer of energy that you give back and forth to each other. So as you got those parts that make you want to mosh or slam or skank or whatever you want to call it anymore, that really pushes the audience. And when we see them moving and that kind of reaction, it pushes us. So we always have that in the back of our minds when we're writing these songs.
Well, let's talk about the lineup change. Greg Tribbett and Bob Zilla are gone, but you did bring in the badass bassist Kyle Sanders from Blood Simple. First of all, that's those guys are ridiculously badass. What was the process of getting him in the band?
After we realized that we were going to have to make a change to make the record that we really wanted, Kyle was the only guy that came to mind, and we didn't want to go through an audition process and, try to get to know somebody new and all that. We just called Kyle and said, hey, man, what are you doing? He goes, really not a whole lot right now. And before we could even say, are you interested? He said, I'm the guy, man. I'm the guy. I want to do it, So that was kind of a no-brainer, and it worked out really good for us. And then, we really want to do these songs justice live. We were going to leave all the guitar work to Tommy, but we had decided that we're going to add a touring guitarist with us. And we know who that is, but we haven't announced it just yet, so keep your ears peeled. You'll know, but I can tell you he's a hell of a guitar player, he's a hell of a singer, and he's going to be a great addition to the lineup. And the friends and fans in Abilene are going to get to be the first people to see the new lineup, and we're excited about it.
Badass, man. Cannot wait. Once again, April the 5th, Hell Yeah, in concert at the Lucky Mule Saloon. And let's kind of back up a little bit. I saw something. This is going to go back to kind of your Pantera days. You got this Cowboys from Hell cover competition going on. And, we got a lot of local bands that are pretty badass itself. But tell us a little bit about that. Or how far involved are you in that particular project?
Man, I can tell you I'm absolutely got zero involvement in that. That's the first I've ever heard of it, man.
Oh, is that right?
There's a lot of bands, a lot of Pantera tribute bands out there, and I've yet to see one that I didn't think was good, man. They all do a really good job, and, it's fun to watch them.
Right on. Speaking of Pantera, I'm probably one of the biggest fans that you'll ever meet, and everybody in Abilene knows it and everything like that. And I've been following you guys for forever. As a matter of fact, I even had the old Power Metal on cassette back in the day, man. So
on, man.
I've been following you through that, Rebel Meets Rebel, and Hell Yeah, and you've come a long way, man. What's probably your proudest moment in your career so far?
I try not to live in the past, man. I really think if you live in the past, you got no future. So for me, my proudest moment is the newest record that we just completed for Hell Yeah. But looking back over the history of, Pantera and the other bands, I think that having the #1 record in 1994 with Far Beyond Driven was absolutely huge and a pinnacle moment. And then a record that I thought really was, kind of overlooked and kind of underrated was the Damageplan record. Me and Don really felt like that record was quite a bit different from Pantera, and it had to be. We didn't want to create Pantera Part 2.
Right.
And so, with those things in mind, those are probably the top highlight points.
Well, as I mentioned before, you're a Texas boy through and through. Musical tastes reflect that with your metal, the Southern fried stuff and such that you listen to and play and everything. But what would we be surprised to know that you listen to in your own personal collection, man?
Man, I like a lot of things, man. I listen to all kinds of different stuff. I don't listen to hip-hop and rap, but just about everything else I get into. I listen to a little country, I listen to a little rock, a little blues. I like a little Zydeco music from time to time, but I don't really think there's anything in my collection that would shock people. I'm pretty well-rounded, and I just like to listen to just about everything.
Now, I know that you're a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm a huge fan myself. And what do you think about the recent moves that Jerry Jones has made with the team, bro?
I think it's pretty awful, man. I think Jerry ought to know from the 8-8 record that we have every year that he's just a mediocre GM, and he needs to get out of the way. Signing Tony Romo up for 6 years means we're 8-8 for the next 5 years. A lot of things like that. I mean, I'd love to see them have Romo last year for one season, let him go, and then find a way to get Johnny Manziel. Would that not be f***ing awesome?
Dude, that would be badass, man. I mean, that's you can't ask for a better quarterback right now. I mean, he's the hottest quarterback coming out of college, period.
Right.
So yeah.
And plus, going to Texas down there at A&M, that would just be the perfect fit, and that's what the Cowboys need. They need some excitement. They need something there that can get the job done. That what they got there now just obviously can't get over the hump. Can't get it done.
Well, you mentioned Jerry Jones. I mean, he's the main problem. I mean, you look back on all the Super Bowls that they won back in the 90s and everything, and it wasn't Jerry Jones that put those teams together. That was Jimmy Johnson, and then even Barry Switzer winning the Super Bowl. That was Jimmy Johnson's team, and since then they haven't done crap. So,
nope, not a thing. But I still love them.
Oh, yeah.
I wear my silver and blue everywhere, and they might still call us America's team, but we're probably about the most hated team in the NFL.
Well, cool, man. Well, I wanted to also ask you this real quick. Recently Rob Flynn from Machine Head, he stated that, quote, the music business has sucked the life out of creativity. And would you agree with that?
Well, not 100%, but I know exactly where he's going with that. I mean, it's such a demand. You must, sell if you're going to be on a major label that, they have these formulas and ways that they want things to sound. I mean, that's why a lot of the bands you hear on the radio sound the same, and it's hard to have their own identity. And I think that's where Rye was going with that pretty much.
Right on. And hell yeah, once again, Blood for Blood comes out in June. I want to say the 11th or is it the 13th?
June 10th.
June 10th. All right, man. June 10th. And we're looking forward to that. And, of course, seeing you guys here in Abilene at the Lucky Mule Saloon on April the 5th. And I'm sure you guys are going to be playing some of the new stuff off of the album.
Definitely playing the new stuff and then, all the stuff that people love from the previous 3 records. And, we'll just break the new guys in and have some fun and have some Black Tooth when it's all over and get ready to go do the dates for the Vince Sevenfold.
Hell yeah, man. Sounds good. Vinny, man, it's always good to talk to you, brother, and thank you for calling in and hanging out and talking with us today, and we'll see you at the show April the 5th.
Hell yeah!